Hi there, I'm Helen Jackson and I'm about to make a delicious raspberry and nougat semifreddo. We've got the ingredients out here and there's actually not that many. We've got eggs, sugar, honey, nougat, vanilla, cream and of course the raspberries. So let's get started. First off, I'm just going to separate the eggs. We don't need the whites, just the yolks. See the tiny little eggs, pop that into there. This one as well. Actually, that's a better size. Okay, in there, that aside. The whites, you can make meringues later if you want to, because you're not going to need those. Okay, so first of all we need is the egg yolks in here, and into that I'm going to add the sugar. So I've got 1/3 of a cup of sugar and honey, beautiful Manuka honey. The reason I use Manuka is I love that flavour it gives. It's a lot stronger than other honeys and you get a really true honey flavour coming in, which is great for something like this. Okay, flick that into there. And the only other thing we're going to add in at this stage is a splash of vanilla. I always use really good vanilla extract. And when I say really good, I make sure it's pure. You're going to get a much better flavour than you will if you use something like a vanilla essence. So let's pour a good, I say a teaspoon, I think, but a good slurp, that works. Okay, that's all we need at this stage. Now what we're going to do is I've got a saucepan behind me of simmering water. We're going to place this bowl on top of it. As you can see, I've got a really thick bowl because I don't want to get too much direct heat and nor do I want the bowl to touch the water. Otherwise you're going to end up with scrambled eggs, and believe you me, it has happened before. What we want to achieve is a lovely, thick, creamy, custard-like consistency, and I'll show you how that looks as we go along. So I've got armed with a whisk. Let's head to the stove. Right, so we're going to pop this onto here, and as the honey looks really thick, and it is, but as we whisk it will break down, and you just keep it moving. Now this is pretty slow to do because basically you want the eggs to thicken up the custard, but you don't want them, as I said earlier, you don't want them to scramble. You want to get a lovely creamy thick mixture at the end, so you're going to stand here taking your time and whisking. And the great thing is, of course, that you're making this the day before because it needs to refrigerate overnight. So allow yourself plenty of time so you can actually get a really good result. Now I'm hand whisking, which is the traditional way, but if you want to be lazy and cheap like I often do, get your electric mixer in here, give it a really good whirl and keep it whirling. Just keep beating and beating over the simmering water until you get a lovely creamy custard, which we'll get to in a few minutes. Now as you can see, this is beautiful and thick. It's really creamy, it's beautiful and white and really thick and luscious, and you believe the smell of honey is divine. Okay, now we're just going to give this a bit of a stir as it cools because the bowl's still hot. So basically what we don't want is we don't want the eggs or any of the mixture to start cooking against the edge of the bowl as it cools down. So we're just going to give that a little beat. Okay. And I'd say beat this for another minute or so as it's cooling. It sounds laborious, but actually it's worth it. Okay, I will pop that to the side, and what we're going to do next is beat our cream. I've got 1.5 cups of cream. That's going to go into there. And now just watch me spray cream everywhere. I'm going to stand back a little bit. I've got the good old-fashioned egg beater. I love these. And the thing is, this model, they're quite hard to find now. You have to go to a jumble sale or a garage sale or Ray Brenny's cupboard, which I think is what I did. Anyway, we'll give this a good beat. Basically, we don't want it to get too, don't overwhip it. We just want lovely soft peaks. Right, beautiful soft peaks. Okay, bang that into there. I'm just going to reach behind me and get a spoon to mix the whole lot together. There, that'll do. Right, so bring back our beautiful eggy honey sugar mixture. We don't want to waste any, so I am going to scrape it off. Gorgeous as it is. Okay, into that I'll just scrape around the sides of the bowl. Into that, now I think I've said 2 punnets of raspberries, but fresh raspberries aren't always available, and don't let yourself be hindered by that. And also at certain times of the year they are quite expensive, so frozens are absolutely fine. And I've got both here because I'm going to decorate with the fresh raspberries later and use the frozens to mix into here. So we're just going to tip them in like so. And then next, my favourite part, the nougat. Now I just said to use nougat, but this one's chocolate covered, which is fine. Chocolate and raspberries are beautiful together. I'm very much a cook that thinks that if you can't find exactly the right ingredient, you don't get bothered. You don't go driving around town in traffic trying to find it. You just make do with what you've got. Okay, next into here are cream. And then, yum, I know this is going to be positively delicious. Right. That's into there. Now, very carefully, in terms of, we don't really want to mix it too much. Just sort of blend all these gorgeous flavours together. So as you can see, it's as easy as can be to make. Beautiful and summery. Makes a gorgeous dessert for Christmas Day. I know we traditionally have Christmas pudding, but if it's a hot day and you're wanting to do something with a very New Zealand feel to it, then this dessert would be delicious. Now, okay, mixed perfectly. I have got in front of me right now, as if by magic, a 25 centimetre loaf pan. All I've done is lined that with plastic cling film because you want something that's going to make it really easy to come out once it's frozen. Now, this is probably the trickiest part of the whole demonstration, is making sure I don't end up with my cling film shrinking down as I tip this in. Oop. Okay, I'll just pick that piece up, pull it in.
This would be good to have someone else on hand to help you with the
Absolutely. It's one of the things my kids like doing because then they get to lick the bowl at the end. Right, flick that in there. Then we're just going to smooth that over like so. All done, all gorgeous. There's dessert made for tomorrow night already. Fold in your plastic, cross like that. And then we're going to pop it into the freezer. It will take overnight, so don't try and rush it. So make it the day before, put it in the freezer. Actually make it 2 days before, 3 days before. Not too long because it will end up a bit icy and not as delicious, but a few days in the freezer isn't going to do it any harm at all. So I'm sure it's going to be delicious. Now,
do you have any on hand that we could
I was waiting for you to ask that question. Of course I do. I'm just going to whip out of the freezer that little dessert I made the night before. I knew you'd be here. I knew you wanted food. Okay, here it is. Now, I don't know if I explained earlier, semifreddo means semi-frozen, so it's really forgiving. It's not like ice cream or something where you have to eat it the minute it comes out, and if it starts to ooze, then you've got it all wrong. If this starts to ooze, you've got it all right, which is perfect. I love that sort of thing. Of course, you don't want it oozing completely off the plate. Let's just turn that over. Like that out. And what will happen is once you've turned it out, actually probably should have done a little, oh there we are, perfect. We'll pull that off like so. And then what we're going to do is if we let that sit for a few minutes, put out your dessert bowls, your spoons, everything else, let that sit and just warm into the heat of the day. And if you're in a hurry, you're really impatient, give it a quick blast with the hairdryer. But what I'm going to do is I've got these beautiful little raspberries here, see them? And they've still got their stems on them, and while I'm not expecting people to eat the stems, and I don't often put things on plates that you can't eat, they do look absolutely sweet and delicious. So we'll just decorate across the top with these. And then basically all you're going to do is slice it. I imagine 10 people could enjoy this, and 8 to 10 anyway, depending on how hungry you are. And it doesn't need anything else with it. It's just gorgeous on its own. Actually, that fell off by mistake, but in seeing that, let's flick some more around it and really make a raspberry feast of it. There we are. Raspberry and Nougat Semifreddo.